Oh yeah, we're going to be giving that Capcom Fighting Collection a workout this month, let me tell you. Behold the competitive standard of the Darkstalkers franchise, Vampire Savior. So, fun fact about this game, Capcom originally had a subtitle in mind. It was originally known as Darkstalkers, Jedah's Damnation. And there are still files hidden within this game's core that contain the particular logo for that title. But as for this game itself, which is essentially Darkstalkers 3, the CPS2 bit off a bit more than it could chew, hence we're missing a couple of characters. For now, we're going to focus on one of the characters added to Vampire Savior, Baby Bonnie Hood. And do not let the Red Riding Hood look fool you. This is a deceiver of the highest magnitude. For one thing, she has missiles. And mines. And an Uzi. So that whole Red Riding Hood thing, what if she was packing heat? What if she was packing an arsenal? What if she had a whole hunting crew behind her? Vampire Savior probably introduced back-to-back the best characters in the Darkstalkers franchise. Hopefully we will go over most of them because there are multiple versions of this particular game out there. We're talking pseudo-sequels. We're talking a console version that adds in missing characters. But this is the original. This is the one you see the most often. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be pulling it off. BB Hood's technically a mix between a charge character and a grappler, but with the movement that this series gives you, good luck with that whole grappling thing. There is another thing I do have to address. In the very beginning logo, the Capcom logo itself, after the not Q sound version, don't know why that isn't in there. There's a logo with Akuma and Relento, and the words Dirty Beret are clear in sight. What is Dirty Beret? Well, it wasn't the name of a dumping group when the arcade ROMs were put out there. Dirty Beret were actually a group of programmers within Capcom. You'll see their logos on a couple of Capcom fighters. But it's just nice to see, for certain fighting games, when the developers like to sign their work. Like, Arc System Works, for example, they had Team Red, the people that developed Guilty Gear Xrd. It's something very similar. one more feature of this game that I do want to show off, but I'm kind of waiting for the opportunity to do so, because the game ain't giving me that chance. God, this move's terrible. Unless you're using it as an anti-air, forget it. It ain't gonna hit anything. But yeah, this was the neat thing about Darkstalkers and its overall evolution. The original Darkstalkers were an obvious case of homaging several horror monsters, whether they be from movies or whether they be from common fiction. Eventually, you just started adding in these Darkstalker killer characters and Night Warriors. That's what Donovan and his Senko were. And then Vampire Savior rolls around. And then we just go from mocking monsters to mocking fairy tales. Wrong one. The Magic series is still here. Light, medium, heavy. It's not the best for BB Hood, but it's there. The BB Hood is best when she can ship you out. Like, slowly take your life bar away. So, I think for Rikuo, it's time to show that one last feature. Dark Force. For the cost of 1 bar, you enter this particular zone, where a character's gimmick gets turned up to 11. Every single button I have becomes a missile button. Rikuo does not like to go to the air. He likes to gas you. He likes to do all these nasty tricks. That was the moment. It doesn't particularly work for me, because this game does have technical red life. So it can be a bit of an exhausting trip trying to keep up with the AI, who wants absolutely none of your zoning bullshit. If anything, a game like this isn't particularly fond of BB Hood's style of play, because all the hard work I do trying to slowly chip him away gets erased in seconds. So we have to be a bit more aggressive. The problem is, we don't necessarily have the buttons to make that dream come true. Because BB Hood's heavy buttons are very different than most other characters' normal heavy buttons. Her heavy punch is always her Uzi, no exceptions. Crouching, standing, or jumping. Her heavy kick is a landmine, no exceptions. Standing, crouching, or jumping. That was a bad decision. So yeah, Rikuo is one of the best characters in the game for many obvious reasons. He just controls the entire screen. See, my job is to keep you out. Rikuo's job is to keep you down. He has moves to disorient you. He has moves to go at long range. This eventually becomes a war of futility. Who's better at playing lame in this matchup? Yeah, I'm never gonna land that move. It's the coolest move, but you'll never get to see it. You would never guess this sweet little girl with a flower on her basket is a cold-hearted bounty hunter. Behold Capcom's first real Canadian fighting game character. Yeah, they're Saturday Night Slam masters, but fighting games and wrestling games are a bit of a gray area. I have always felt this. There was a good podcast recently from Triple KO that asked you what a fighting game is, and wrestling games eventually showed up in the discussion. I recommend it as a listen. Also, I just took a trip to the Arctic. Darkstalkers games like to take your typical archetype and sort of turn them upside down. One of the things people enjoyed about this game, I mean, sure, you had the typical archetypes, but here were a few extra flavors. I'm just gonna back the fuck up. That seems like a good use of my time. That was a terrible move on my part. I'll be the first to admit, this is not my best character in Vampire Savior. Not by a long shot. But if you're gonna play a new game, you might as well show off a new character. Because this character sets the tone of Vampire Savior. Wheat on the inside, poison on the outside. You know what I mean. Getting a little psychic here, game. Nope, ain't nailing that. I'll still get a try. God, that range is awful. That's supposed to be your sweep, and it has the range of... There we go! The tears of her dead grandmother create her own super. God. As bad as I am with this character, she's an incredibly creative fighting game character. Yeah, it's not the best. It's not the best Dark Force by a long shot. Considering the startup, considering the limited range, considering the size of the projectile. her tools just aren't the most appealing. And not the most useful for a game like this. Where Rushdown and Magic series are kind of its calling card. Alright, we need to knock that away. So Hisenko can drop this little bomb that you can actually manipulate by interacting with it, aka attacking it. I cannot believe that worked. Ah, should have been lowing that. Somehow, that is not an overhead. Thank God that is not an overhead. I'll take it. Could have killed if it was a better super. I'm guessing Hisenko's trying to reflect it, because the little gong she has can technically reflect projectiles, but not even. That would require them to go full screen. So here we have the main antagonist, Jedah, fighting in one of the most infamous Capcom fighting stages of them all, Fetus of God. Welcome to your nightmares. So Jedah's job is to fly around the screen, tossing out spacing tools, like that one, grabbing you for big damage. He's got the mobility to embarrass you. And he's one of the strongest characters in the game because of that. Never mind that this is his boss version. I'll be trying to play this safe, but it's not easy. Mistakes against Jedah can be fatal. And it's not even whipping moves, it's a matter of positioning. Such as one of his signature moves, where he drags you to the underworld. Such as a grab move where if you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time, he can do mortal damage with it, especially if he does an EX version of it. Jedah's not a good time, but I immediately like him more than Pyron because look at him. He's so much more appealing of a character than Fiery Flame Alien Man. Definitely a step up. Gotta use my heavier attacks a lot more. I need to get the most out of my damage. He can be a struggle and a half if you have the wrong character. Did I mention on top of being her worst super, it also has the highest startup? Not good here. Overhead, hello. Nope. You and me both. This is probably going to be half the video. Hopefully not. But I don't think Jedah's going to give me a choice in the matter. We haven't even seen his deadliest super. And I hope to keep it that way. Because Jedah's one of those characters where, even if he gets hit, the things he tosses out are still active. So, look forward to getting interrupted a lot. I'll take that. Oh, you got a lot of red life there. Damn it! He sealed the contract! That move fucking hurts! Alright. This match is going south fast. I am trying to be fancy here, but win any way you can. That's Vampire Savior, done. Is what I would say if we weren't playing BB Hood. Jedah is normally the final boss, but... we're a hunter. And here's our prey. Lord Raptor. This is the zombie man with the chainsaw weapons and the British punk rock look. He's not as bad as Jedah, but he's still got some tricks that are... well, he's still got some tricks that are strong against our overall playstyle. He kind of has a way to get around a lot of it. Good ranged attacks. Another strong character. At least in this version. Oh, thank God I was in the air for that. Thank God I was not in the air for that. I really thought he was going to jump again. Okay. 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 I'm gonna need you to chill. No, that's clearly not happening. Oh, hanging on by a damn thread. And that is Vampire Savior. You gotta love the image of the living tree smoking a cigarette. But that was Vampire Savior. Still the high bar of the Darkstalkers franchise. But as you'll see throughout this month, this game got split into 3 different versions. Because again, the CPS2 was getting pushed to its absolute limit. 15 characters here, all unique and exaggerated animations to consider. It's normally a lot to take in. We did have to add the characters that we lost from Night Warriors back. But it would take developing an entirely new version and sending less popular characters towards the chopping block. And it would take the console version to bring them all together. And all those particular runs, they're coming on their own time. I'm kind of mixed on Darkstalkers as a whole. It's a great universe filled with memorable characters, but me playing it, I've never exactly been the best at it, but I appreciate it. It's definitely a rare case, or at least rare nowadays, of Capcom going outside their comfort zone. Because at this point, all they really had was Street Fighter. Street Fighter was what they knew when it come to developing fighting games, but eventually they would make games with robots in them. They would make a not Star Wars. And they would debut their new hardware with a new franchise. One that hasn't received as much love as it honestly deserves. Considering a lot of its characters get pulled into crossovers. They've been in more crossover games than they've been in more games from its original franchise. But hey, we've got those other versions of Vampire Savior to play, don't we?